como usted prefiera.
Sí, sí, encantada. Me llamo Mari, Kumamoto pianista.
Mucho gusto.
Sí, mucho gusto. So, it's 34 years ago, I met your father in Japan.
Ah, yes.
Yes, and we had a very brief lunch, and he talked a lot about you and the musical education, how you started musical education with you. So, what kind of influence had your father had on your musical education?
Enormous, very important, because I was very young. I started to study with him. I was 5.5 years old. And you know, my father was a highly intelligent person, and he had studied philosophy, and he really was a very thinking person. And therefore he was able to guide me both in the music and outside the music. And he taught me really how important it is to think in and with the music. The music is not just a question of instinct or talent, but that one has to really learn to think in it. And it starts by learning to read the text. Because you don't read the music text like you read a book. Because to read the text means to understand all the connections.
Mm-hmm.
And if you don't learn to think, it's as if you were reading a book in an alphabet that you know, but in a language that you don't speak. And therefore, that is reading the text in the end is of enormous importance, and unfortunately not very often done.
Yes, and I understand your mother was also a piano teacher.
Yes, she specialized in teaching children.
So she also taught you some piano lessons too when you were a child?
At the very beginning, she gave me the first lessons.
Then,
and 6 months later, I went to my father.
So which of your parents was more strict, your mother or your father?
My father was a man and my mother was a woman. You decide which is stricter.
Oh, I see. But some mother could be very strict to their sons, so I just wondered. Yes. And now talking to you, I remember a lot of your father because he was also smoking cigar, just like now, like you. And he told me that he liked very much sweet things, dulces. He was putting a lot of sugar into his tea and coffee. Yes, and also I understand you. Your father. I read your biography, and your father was I think he liked philosophy. He went to listen to Ortega y Gasset, the philosophy, when he came to Argentina, Buenos Aires. And I also read a lot of Spinoza, the book of Spinoza. Influenced in your musical thinking and your education. So maybe both you and your father was very, not only a musician, but like a philosophy. What do you think? In philosophy.
As I was saying, it's very important to learn to think in and with the music. It's very often done as something only instinctively. And then there is a very important element missing.
And your father also learned a lesson with Vicente Scaramuzzo, lessons with Vicente Scaramuzzo. And of course, he's a very famous teacher who taught Marta, and you didn't have lesson with Vicente, just your father.
No, I never studied with Scaramuzzo.
I see. And I was very it was very interesting to listen to YouTube with the actor, the Christopher Waltz, the recent YouTube with him, the discussion. And it was very interesting to talking about music and how you met important person like Ivor Markevich and Servidace, the conductor you met when you were a child, and also including Rubinstein. And is it true that he's the one who taught you how to drink vodka for the first time?
Yes.
Oh, and so do you like?
I was 14 years old.
Oh, 14 years.
I was 14 years old, and I played for him. I used to play for him quite a. See, I was very fortunate because I had a privileged relationship with him. Because he met my parents when my mother was pregnant with me.
Oh, I see.
And they were friends. And therefore, he took an interest in her child. So to say. And then when I started playing, he allowed me to go and play for him whenever he had time. And we were in the same city. And so on that occasion, I was 14 and I played for him. And then he invited me for dinner. He was the first adult who invited me for a meal without my parents.
Oh, I see.
It was very important for me.
Oh, so he taught you alcohol and maybe
and cigar.
And cigar. And Rubinstein himself, he's very fashionable. He wear hats, just like your homepage profile photo. It reminds me of the Rubinstein. And also like you commented on how Rubinstein sits on the piano very straight without not moving that much, concentrated very much onto the sound. And that reminds me of you also. You're very static and very like the form, the way you play is like Rubinstein, not moving too much, always stable, concentrated at the piano, the sound.
The piano is the only instrument, all the instruments that is outside. A violin you hold.
Yes.
The cello you embrace. The wind play you play. The piano is very independent, has its own legs. Has 3 legs, stands on his own, and therefore it's very important for the pianist to really become one with the instrument. And in order to do that, you have to really make the step to get in touch with the instrument. Break this barrier.
And I read in the book that Tansman made you you met Tansman and he recommended you to see Rubinstein. Is it true? The Polish composer, Tansman.
Tansman I knew in Paris, but I knew Rubinstein before.
Oh, I see. By the way, what do you think about Tansman's compositions? Do you ever play his compositions?
I think he's a very good composer. Unfortunately, not much performed nowadays.
No. Have you ever played his pieces in public?
No.
Oh, I see. And so Rubinstein taught you the vodka. Are you very strong in alcohol? Do you drink every day beer or wine with meal?
No, I drink when I feel like it.
Oh, I see. Maybe after the concert.
Not every day.
After the concert or something. Oh, I see. Because I was in Argentina in 2013. I was very impressed with Buenos Aires. And I also play South American pieces, but you also play Ginastera, and one of my favorite CD of yours is this one, the Brazilian Rhapsody. I love this CD of yours.
Thank you.
Yeah, of course I have your Goldberg, Brahms, everything, but especially this makes me happy. When I'm a bit tired of practicing, I listen to this and this makes me very inspiring, this piece. And not only the arrangement is fabulous, and your sound is always in playing jazz, playing classical music, playing tango, always your music is just so fabulous. Music, the most important, really sounding like orchestra, just like your father taught you.
But you see, the piano is actually the least interesting instrument by itself. When you start learning to play a string instrument or a wind instrument, you have to really make your own sound. The instrument really demands that of you. The piano any weight that you put on the keys makes a sound. Not a very interesting one, maybe. If I would put this ashtray on the black keys, it would make a sound. And therefore, to sound like a human being, not like an ashtray, you have to develop the sound imagination much more so than on other instruments.
Yes.
The piano in itself, like this, objectively, is not interesting. What is interesting is what you can achieve to make it sound differently.
And when I was 10 years old, when I first listened to your performance in Madrid, Spain, Teatro Real, playing Beethoven, and I was impressed because that day you were burnt your hand, and on the stage you were putting your hand in the water and playing the Beethoven. Do you remember?
No.
Oh, and I told this episode.
I can't remember unpleasant things.
Oh, I see. Sorry. Yes, I told the episode to your father, and he remembered this, and he told me that, yeah, he burnt your hand, and he was, doing, you didn't cancel the concert, but cooling in the water, you're playing, and I was so impressed with this scene. Such a big artist like you didn't cancel the concert, continue playing with, this burnt hand, the right hand it was. Oh, I see. You remember. And also, very interesting question I like to ask is that your hand is not that immense for a man. So do you?
Very small.
Not very much.
Small. It's small, and with age, it shrinks.
Oh, really? Oh, so do you think a lot about fingerings? Do your original fingerings in passages?
It's very important. Fingerings are very important, not only technically, but musically.
Yes.
And one of the most important things about how you think to play piano is don't forget that you have black keys.
Yes.
And then beyond that, you have the white keys. And therefore, you have to play horizontally, but you have in and out because of the black keys and the white keys. And this is very important, especially when you want to play legato.
So like in passage like Liszt or Rachmaninoff, you do think a lot of...
Not in Liszt and Rachmaninoff.
Everything.
In everything. The piano has black keys, and beyond that, it has the white keys. And therefore, you have to play in and out all the time.
Yes. Talking about the South American music, I mean, they are like Hinastre and Arthur Piazzolla. I know you play these things, but especially in Japan, people think, of course, the German composer like Beethoven, Brahms, Bach are the best. And the second, Debussy, French music, and they put the South American or Spanish music in very like second rank, third rank position, still in Japan. And what do you feel about these things?
I think the greatness of a composer has nothing to do with his passport. You can be a great composer and come from Japan or from Russia or from France or from Italy, and each one has different characteristics. I think that you can really make different levels. There's great German music, like Beethoven, Wagner, Brahms, and there's also very bad German music. But of course, especially in the 18th and 19th century, the geographical differences were greater than they are today. But you have also very modern composers like Pierre Boulez, who had a very French sound in mind, and it sounds like French music, but at the same time, it has the structure and the construction, like as if it was German. So this is why it makes music universal.
And is there any favorite South American or Spanish composer you like? One of your favorite?
I have a soft spot for Albanians.
Uh-huh.
I think Albanians was really so unique.
Mhm.
Italia, of course, also, but
Mhm.
Albanians has something very, very personal.
Uh-huh. Like Sweet Iberia?
Iberia,
Yeah.
Iberia is a masterpiece, one of the great masterpieces of the 20th century.
Do you play some of them, or do you play
I played the first two books of Iberia.
Uh-huh, I see. Uh-huh. So like Triana, you play Triana also.
Yes.
Hay vocación el puerto. Yeah, I see. Very nice. Yeah, you being so busy or traveling all over the world, when do you feel so relaxed? When is the best happy times for you? When you're doing what? When do you feel happy? Smoking cigar or?
I think I'm basically a happy person. I'm not, I'm not depressed or worried. I try always to enjoy. Rubinstein taught me one very important thing.
Yes.
He said to me, if you want to be happy in life,
yes,
you have to forget the word if.
Oh, I see.
That's say I would be happy if I had this friend or that friend, if I had more money or if I had this. The word if is that you have to accept life unconditionally. Learn to live with it. And in everyday life, there are moments where it is more pleasant, others where it is a little less interesting or less pleasant. But basically, you cannot put conditions on life if you want to be happy.
Oh, so you're very lucky because you're always very happy. And how do you maintain your health? And you must have a jet lag traveling all over. Do you have something you do to maintain your health?
Minimum amount of interviews.
Oh, sorry. Sorry. Yeah. So that's why today I'm trying to ask. I'm sure you've been so bored to be asked the same question. So I'm trying to really ask the question somebody hasn't asked you. I see. So
how come you speak Spanish?
Because I lived in Spain. I lived when I was a child, from 10 to 17 in Madrid. So then after I went to Juilliard, New York, and then to London. So I remember when I was living in London, I met Karin, the Venezuelan girl, the pianist. I think you know her. She was very friendly with Marta and Karin. I forgot her last name. Venezuelan pianist. Karin del Tiempo, his brother is a pianist. Yeah, so I was also in London, so that's why I speak Spanish. So when I met your father, he was saying, "Oh, why do you speak Spanish?" He was very impressed. Then he said, "Oh, why don't you come with me? I invite you for lunch." So we talked for hours in the hotel, and it was very, very interesting.
I'm very glad.
Yes.
Nice to hear from somebody who has nice remembrance of my father.
Oh yes, very much. And he was here to give a conferences in the music school about the method how he taught you to be a pianist. So it was very interesting conference. So I was he really told me a lot of things.
I'm very glad.
Yeah, and just like you, smoking cigars, just like you. Just now. So it is I'm also very happy to see you, both your father and you. What is your favorite food?
Favorite food?
Yeah.
Change. Never eat every day the same thing.
Oh, I see. So
I like Italian food. I like Indian food. I like Japanese food. I like Chinese food.
So in Japan, what do you like to have? What is your favorite dish in Japan?
Oh, I like the teppanyaki.
Teppanyaki meat. I see. Yes. And also, sorry, in the book I read, Arau made you also big influence, and you comment on he's very much Latin, but also very much German, in very well-balanced person, you wrote in your book, I read. And maybe you yourself, do you find like how much percent of you is Latin, do you feel yourself?
Depends in what situations.
Or maybe in your private life?
I have 4 passports.
Yes.
I have Argentinian passport.
Uh-huh.
I have Israeli passport.
Is that, uh-huh.
I have Spanish passport.
Oh, Spanish,
And
huh?
I have Palestinian passport.
Oh.
I'm the only person, I think, in the world who has both Israeli and Palestinian passport.
Ah, and how come you have also Spanish passport?
Because Spain was very open
Yes.
to Latin American people that were in Europe to give them because of the history. You
Yes.
know,
Yeah.
Spanish colonies, except for Brazil, all of America was Spanish dominated.
So now, example, now when you came to Japan, with which passport did you use?
Spanish.
Oh, Spanish. Oh, I see. I didn't know about you. This.
The Spanish passport, of course, is much easier to travel inside Europe.
Ah, yes.
Than everywhere.
Oh. And when you're with your family, which is your first language? Do you speak German with your wife and your sons? Or?
No, with my wife, I speak between French and English.
French,
Because we started our life together in France.
Oh, I see. Yes. And your son's he's a violinist. I've listened to his also wonderful CD with you. Do you speak German with Michael?
No, I speak French with him.
Oh, French.
I have two sons.
Yes.
They both were born in Paris.
They
spent the first 10 years or so of their life in France. And therefore I still speak French with them.
Oh, I see. So you yourself, what do you feel the most comfortable speaking, your first language? Is it Spanish or it's...
It changes, it changes. I've lived now for the last 30 years. I lived in Germany. So I usually think in the language that I work with, when I rehearse with the orchestra. And I'm very lucky that I learned through my travels.
Yes.
As a child, several languages, and I really changed from one to the other.
Does watching movies make you relax? Maybe moving in the plane or at home. Do you watch sometimes movie?
I love watching movies.
Oh, what kind of movie is your favorite?
All kinds.
Oh, like a suspense or love or SF or
comedies, everything.
Comedy. Is there any favorite actor you like? Comedians?
No.
Oh, yeah, it's very interesting because I can't imagine you. I think most of these Japanese audiences think you as a god, like a musical god, and they probably won't imagine you sort of watching movie and laughing. It's difficult to imagine that kind of your image because you have such a serious, like goddess image on you.
So you can't be serious 24 hours a day.
I see.
I learned that lesson early on.
So it's important to laugh. I think so. So what the last question I will make?
What do you speak better, English or Spanish?
More or less the same.
More or less the same.
Yes.
But you see, you speak Japanese, you speak English, you speak Spanish. You go from one to the other.
Yes, yeah, but there are a lot of I can understand Italian, Latin, French because I learned in school and it's easy to understand the Latin languages. Yes, but there are a lot of we are few of the pianists. I play a lot of Spanish music, but they are quite less in Japan still. I made a lot of progress, making a lot of entire works of Monpo, and also I make a Goldberg variation Bach. I play a lot of Bach, but I play a lot of Latin music because I want to know that they are lovely Latin, South American, Spanish music also. And in Japan, they still don't know any composers. So I think it's also important to let them know the lovely music that South American has, invented, these beautiful melodies.
Yeah, but there is a big difference between Spanish music and Latin American music. It's a different character, and you cannot play Spanish music in a Latin American way.
It's true. Precisely, how would you explain that?
Well, their rhythms are different. The melodies are different. The harmony is different. But the rhythm is very important, both in Spanish and in Latin American. But it's different rhythms.
I understand. So are you good at dancing tango? Do you dance also?
I don't have too much opportunities, but my parents were both very good tango dancers.
Oh, I see. Yes. Because I saw in your biography, there are a lot of photos of you with your father, and he used to have a beard, a mustache with glasses, and your mother was also a very beautiful woman. So I was wondering what kind of a mother she was to you, reading this book about you. I think the time is over. So I want to congratulate you for your stay here, and please take care with your health. And I'm hoping I'll see you again next time in live, not through the Zoom.
No, I hope so too. But I want to use this opportunity to tell you how much I enjoyed being able to come to Japan.
Yes.
In this COVID times, when so much is closed in Europe. It's beginning now, but it's a really wonderful experience to be able to come to Japan and to enjoy the Japanese public. To the concert.
Do you have any message for young Japanese pianists who wants to become a pianist? Any message for this young Japanese who is learning piano?
Well, my father-in-law, Dmitry Bashkirov.
Yes, I know him. I listened to so many of his concerts in Madrid.
He was a wonderful pedagogue. He really was a great teacher, very excellent. And he used to say, music comes first from the head.
Yes.
Then from the heart.
Yes.
Only then, after that, from the fingers. The fingers really execute what you think and what you feel.
Yes, so exactly, I feel the same. That's why competition could be very dangerous. People start to play so fast and so mechanically without mistake, and some people think that's the right way to win the competition, which is a big mistake.
But the competitions have musically very little value for me. I don't think music is for competition and to think. It helps people get to be known at the beginning, and this is a wonderful thing. But one's relationship to music cannot be determined by outside factors.
It's true. Yes. Oh, sorry, I forgot to ask you one question, which I was very curious when you're talking with Christopher Waltz. You told Chris, when you read the Beethoven sonata first time, you were shocked with how great he was as a musician. And which sonata was that first sonata you read of Beethoven?
Opus 14, number 2.
Opus 14, number 2. Oh, I see. And that was chosen by your father, or you chose it?
Oh, I think I was 8 years old.
Oh, I see.
I tried to do what he told me to do.
Yes, but the incredible thing is watching your photo, all the photo here, you are a little child, but you just look like a very, very adult, very matured. So it was incredible because you had this master lesson with Markevich when you were 14, 12 in Salzburg, in Vienna.
11.
Yeah, 11. And such a little boy, but watching through the photo, you really look such a mature man. Yeah, so probably your head is like 30 years ahead of a normal human being.
You mean I'm abnormal?
No. It's like a genius. Contrario. Yes, so that was now I understand, because talking to you and both your father, that this genetics that I feel, the intelligence and the humor you have, both you and your father, it's no wonder he made you like una joya de tesoro del mundo, made by your father.
I was very lucky. I think I'm a very lucky person. I had really wonderful opportunities and wonderful opportunities to learn from my father and from many other people too.
Yeah, yes. And your father's cemetery, is it in Europe?
Pardon?
Your cemetery, your father.
My father is buried in Jerusalem.
Jerusalem. Oh, I see. Yeah, I see. Yeah. So thank you very much for.
Thank you.
Yes. So I hope to see you very soon, and please come back very soon to Japan for everybody. That I think they will be waiting for your another performance, different program again.
And keep playing Spanish music.
Yes, I will. Thanks to you. Yes.
There's very few musicians, or actually very few pianists who play really Spanish music.
Yes, so I'm making another recording soon, the new Spanish album again. So next time I hope you can listen to my Spanish music and also Japanese music. I play a lot of folk music, which is not much unknown. And it's transcribed by a composer called Okumura. And I played a lot in foreign countries. And they were very impressed because they don't know this Japanese folklore music. It's important to, I think, to keep playing your, the soul music of your country.
Definitely.
Yes.
I wish you all the best.
Yes, thank you, Daniel Barenboim, Mr. Barenboim. Bye.
Bye-bye.